everyone to this Teams call, and thank you for joining us again on this Giving Tuesday. We have a panel of Sound Generation staff and board joining us to show you why your support for aging adults is needed now more than ever. And so, for those unfamiliar with Giving Tuesday is the largest day of international giving, and it's a global movement of human generosity to do something good in their communities. For a nonprofit like Sound Generations, that means we rely on the generous support of donors on Giving Tuesday to continue to provide vital services for aging and disabled neighbors in King County. So you can watch our Giving Tuesday progress and support us by clicking on the link below. It'll be in the description when this video has gone out to people, and it will be up there. Or you can also text SG Tuesday to 71777. And so now, Sound Generations focuses on 4 pillars of support. There's food security, transportation, health and wellness, and assistance services. And our first pillar is food security. Ensures older adults can have access to nutritionally balanced food and social interaction to combat hunger and isolation. And joining us to support food security is Paul Lacine, who will share briefly his experience and how long he's been at Sound Generations.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody. So the question put to me was food security or the lack thereof, food insecurity. And I think one of the great things that this program offers is we are enabling people that would normally probably have a situation in their lives where they're going to be in some type of jeopardy, is whether getting out of the hospital, rehabilitating, or recovering from an illness. But this affords them the opportunity to stay at home and to get nutritious meals that can also, of course, help their recovery process. And I've been doing this for 23 years, so it's been a while, but I have honestly say I enjoy it immensely. I have been selfishly enjoying it, not like a work. It's not like a job. And the benefits that come with it also, not just the food security part, but just having our drivers. We have a wonderful, cadre of staff and volunteers that also are able to go out into the communities and reach out to people of every gender, race, creed, and color. And that brings the rainbow that much more into focus of helping one another in this program and affording people, again, to stay independent and at home. So I really can say that this has been a pleasure to do this in my life while I've been here, and hope to continue on for however long I can.
Thank you, Paul, for representing food security and for joining us today. So our second pillar is transportation, and that keeps older adults connected to their communities and living independently. So today we're joined by Kim Christodoulou, I hope I pronounced that right, and they will share their experiences and how long they've also joined us at Sound Generations.
Well, and I guess I will start. I'm actually the transportation supervisor now. I've actually been with the company for about 12. I volunteered driving. I was a driver, so I know how important it is to get that transportation out there. And I also brought Ty with me because he's currently taking people around right now and helping community dining with their stuff. So, Ty.
Hi. My name is Ty, and I've been with the company, I think, about 6 years. And I take a lot of food for the people. About, I think, every day, about 25, 28 people. And after that, whatever they need, we come back and helping them with the supply. Because they're very old and they cannot go anywhere.
And I get to hear now that I'm not a driver anymore, how wonderful it is for them just to get out of the house. Sometimes we're the only way people can get out of the house to go visit their family, friends, or even just get to their medical appointments or go get food.
Thank you, Kim and Ty, for joining us to tell the transportation side of things. And our third pillar is health and wellness that allows older adults to remain active physically and mentally in our community and empowers them with positive aging. And joining us today is DJ Damon, who will share her experience on how long she has been at Sound Generations.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Deidre Damon, and I'm representing Health and Wellness Department today. And I have been with Sound Generations for 11 years in a variety of capacities, and started out at local senior centers doing information and assistance, which is now the Pathways Department. So I've had my fill of different experiences, and just being able to do direct contact work with participants and clients. And the health and wellness team is really focused on, as we know, within the next few years, 65 years and older, adults can really expect to live the next 20 to 25 years more. So really focusing on good health, which helps with continued independence, security, and productivity is really important to us with our enhanced fitness classes and enhanced wellness sessions.
Thanks again for joining us, Deidre. So our fourth and final pillar is assistance services, and that helps serve as our entry point for program referrals and low-income homeowners, caregivers, resources, you name it. And joining us from that group is Amber and Sabrina, who will be telling you about their experiences with assistance services and Sound Generations.
Thank you so much, Annie. My name is Sabrina Jones, and I am the Director of Assistance Services at Sound Generations. I've been in this role for about a year and a few months, but prior to that, what was Senior Services at the time actually brought me to Seattle to be in AmeriCorps Vista in 2010. So it's not my first time here, and I was so excited to be able to come back and work with Assistant Services. And under the Assistant Services umbrellas, we have our caregiver team, which makes sure that people who are caring for loved ones learn how to prioritize themselves and their needs, and we connect them to resources in the community that help make their caregiving responsibilities more sustainable. And then, as Annie mentioned, and Deidre, our Pathways Information and Assistance team are often the entry point into Sound Generations work. They're the entry point into resources and services in the community. And more often than not, in the times of COVID, they really are just someone for our clients to talk with, which is really, really needed right now. We also have our SHIBA program, which provides unbiased Medicare and Medicaid advice, and our Senior Rights Assistance program, which gives low-cost legal clinics to our clients. Our newest program is GRAT, which is the Geriatric Regional Assessment Team, and I'll let Amber tell you a little bit more about that program.
Hello, my name is Amber McDowell. I'm with the Geriatric Regional Assessment Team. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist, and our program is really aimed at adults that are 55 and older and struggling with behavioral health, mental health, cognitive deficit or decline, and trying to help them before a crisis occurs, and trying to reduce their isolation and their access to resources. So our clinicians do a biopsychosocial assessment of each client, develop a treatment plan, and then link them to longer-term resources for support.
Thanks for giving that overview and also for joining us today. And we are also joined by Latasha Byers from our board of directors and Dale Hoover, who's part of our administration. If you guys would like to talk about how you came to Sound Generations, that would be great.
Well, greetings all. And just first I want to say Paul, Kim, Ty, Deidre, Sabrina, Amber, and Dale, thank you so much for all that you do. This is my second term as a board member for Sound Generations. I came to Sound Generations actually when I first moved to Seattle about 9 years ago. I came to the Senior Services Center and wanting to volunteer. And with my travel schedule, some other things, I just couldn't make the proper commitment. And so when I was able to do that in my life and make room for it, the first thing I did from a volunteer perspective was come to Sound Generations. And what draws me to this work and what keeps me coming back is I grew up as a caregiver at a very young age for both my parents. And so having to spend a lot of time being that shuttle driver, interpreting what we need to select for healthcare, being the person to walk the halls when my parents were, either in the hospital bed or incapacitated, and not only spending time with them, but visiting other people who didn't have visitors. Me and my siblings realized at that point that our personal mission as humans is what we do to impact the people on the fringes, right? And so what we do for the small and what we do for those who need to grow old with dignity and independence is a true test of your character. So you can do all the things that are fun and fancy in the middle and make a lot of money. So I am dedicated to like the work of Sound Generations. I'm dedicated to the vision of Sound Generations, not only because I lived it and I saw what it means when it's not working, and I'm so thankful and proud to be able to support it for you guys to help make it work. And I guess the other question you asked me was I guess my day job. So in the midst of all this passion, I'm an HR leader at Microsoft. And I focus primarily on building a succession practice there. But I also try to leverage, one, the giving there, and then two, making the connections to try and enable the organization as much as I can. So again, thank you all.
And privilege. My name is Dale Hoover, and I have been here at Sound Generations Senior Services for now 15 years. And it's my honor to be out in the public as the brand ambassador to be able to tell folks about all of our wonderful programs and the people that perform all the hard work so that our senior elders have the opportunity to enhance their life with a little bit more of glory, a little bit more of presence to know that there are organizations such as ours that provide not only nutritional values, but transportation and social work programs just to help them make their life to be a little bit more glorious. One of the interesting things is, and unfortunately during this pandemic time, we have kind of canceled having health fairs and what have you. But I've for years been doing those as well as other things, and I'm the one that gets to hear the stories from clients, senior elders and or their families to come by that say they have utilized the Meals on Wheels program, or they use the HIDE or volunteer transportation services. Or if it gets a little deeper, sometimes they would say the people at Information and Assistance had helped them in areas where they really didn't have the knowledge that they really needed to help their loved ones have a better quality of life. So I get to do that. I get to go to the medical facilities and to introduce our programs to nutrition people and or social work peoples in these locations to tell them that we are there to assist them and to help their clients be aware of programs that we have. And so the important thing is to know that we are there for their senior elders and that we are there to be basically a dotted line organization to a medical facility, a hospital or medical clinic, and or another organizations where we partner with them. So I get the glory, but I'm the one that is out on the public, but it's the employees at Sound Generations that do the hard work to make people have a better quality of life.
Thank you again, Dale, and also thank you, Latasha, and everyone here for carving out the time to speak with me and the larger community today. And I think today is going to be great. So I'd like to start off in the spirit of Giving Tuesday and talk about some of the stories that our clients have shared with us this past year. I came across one that I believe will resonate with all of our service corners of Sound Generations, and this one comes from an Allison A. My grandparents were some of the most important people in my life. We were lucky to have a strong family support system close by to ensure that they were well cared for and had proper nutrition in their later years. Some of our elderly neighbors aren't as lucky, and thank you for looking after this special and deserving population. So, knowing that this is just a sample of the stories that we encounter every day, I have a few questions that I would like to ask you all in relation to the important work that you do for our clients and that you would like to convey to our network of supporters on Giving Tuesday. So, how would more funding for your program on Giving Tuesday impact your service delivery?
Well, I guess I can shout out. I guess I'll start the answer your question. I think one of the greatest things that it affords us is that we can certainly do more services, as all of these folks have said. We can do transportation more to get people to their hospital or doctor's appointments. We can serve more food to our clients so that they don't have to worry about where their next food is going to come, or should I choose between medication, or how am I going to, hold back on my food bill to get the medication. It's just a whole kaleidoscope of different methods of access for people, be they marginalized and the fringes, as Latasha so aptly pointed out too, in that we can reach out more into our community to really serve those who are in need of these services but may not have access or may not have the opportunity to read about or see from others about the programs. So it just brings me great joy when we can see more funding to our programs to help facilitate and bring greater breadth and depth to all those in need, to bring them greater coverage and independence in their life. More than anything is just meaning independence. I know I'll probably want to be the same way. So just bringing that independence and keeping that person's dignity and respect for their life into focus, and to keeping them in that position so that they don't have to fear. And to me, the greatest present we can always give each other is peace of mind. So that's always in the forefront of my thinking, with more funding and acknowledging and the proof that we can show to our community and giving them that opportunity again. Thank you.
So transportation, it goes along with what you're saying on independence. I mean, we help our drivers help provide those seniors with independent traveling, medical appointments, grocery stores, anything that they need to get their basic needs met. And extra funding would just be able to create more of that so that we can go to more areas as well. There's cities we don't service. So more funding would give the older population more of those services that we provide. So thank you.
More funding would be so instrumental to helping the assistant services teams. All the way from minor home repair. There are some projects that we do where there's some cost, and being able to cover those for people who've been really looking for that work would be valuable. One of the great things that our Pathways Information Assistance team does is through a really great gift card drive, when callers are really just at their last dollar, last effort, we are able to send gift cards that they can use at places such as Target, QFC, Fred Meyer, and allow them to purchase the things they need. One of the most common things that people purchase with these gift cards are microwaves to help heat up Meals on Wheels meals. That's just amazing. And one of the greatest things about these gift cards is our staff have conversations with clients, and then we send the gift cards and they are able to purchase the items that meet their needs. We're not sending them an item that we picked out, or that we're not limiting what they can buy. really they're able to help themselves, and they can use these for medicines, as Paul mentioned, like that can get really expensive. And so being able to purchase more gift cards would really go a long way in making sure that our clients are able to have that dignity and respect throughout the year to buy the items that help them meet their needs.
Well, chime in here. Our department, the Health and Wellness Department, I always say we are small but mighty, because a lot of our work is upstream work. So we train leaders in the community to facilitate, teach the enhanced fitness classes, to be enhanced wellness coaches, to be matter of balance coaches out in the community. So not only are they community leaders, but they're also older adults. And many of those older adults are newly retired, and they're trying to think about and figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? And just like Latasha, many of them want to impact their community. They just don't want to be sitting at home. So much of our work is upstream work where we train and really provide instrumental resources for those leaders in the community to do those programs that I just mentioned. And so more funding would be helpful for us to continue to do those trainings at a low or free cost to those leaders, especially those that financially are unable to pay, to provide more enhanced fitness classes. Not only is enhanced fitness in Washington State, but we're across the country. And our team here at Sound Generations is probably of 10 or 12 people. And so we are really working hard to not only reach folks in Washington State, but across the country. So more funding would be very helpful and instrumental in us, even with the technology piece, to make sure that the instructors and the coaches have what they need in order to put the programs on in the community. We partner with so many senior centers and community organizations, and so really doing this is important work because we can't do it alone. So the funding and the grant money that comes in, we use every bit of it to continue with these programs in the community. And as you all mentioned, really helping older adults stay independent. A lot of that is physical. And so, someone needing a caregiver in their home. So the enhanced fitness classes, the older adult and the caregiver could go together, and really helping people to remain strong physically, but then also there's a social aspect that comes in. When you are attending an enhanced fitness class 3 times a week for an hour, you become like family, right? You become like a community. So that is so important to be able to continue to provide those classes. And the only way we can do that is by training leaders in the community. And because our staff is, as I mentioned, we are only a few people, so we can't go out and do all of those classes. So we are really training many people in the community, and that takes finances to do that.
And then Annie, I'll chime in from a board perspective and also speak directly to anyone watching this who is of, corporate philanthropy. So for us as a board, we also represent and advocate for greater funding to strengthen our many organizations talk about their social responsibility and things that they want to do in the broader community as well as in the local community. And for us as board members is holding and giving those corporations opportunity, but also holding our government accountable for living up to that social contract. And so all the things that you guys are doing, from transportation to meals to education to healthcare to wellness to mentality to just independence and having them make their own choices, is all outlets of how we can help ourselves as individuals, as organizations, as governments, to help strengthen the social impact and be accountable for that. So we advocate, we write letters and we support our senior centers. And not only do we go out and we solicit donations, we try to bring in other funds any way that we can, because it's just our duty to make sure that we're enabling all the work that you do. So thank you.
And I can chime in on the importance of funding and support for the GRAT program. GRAT is really filling a hole in the community that has been missing for years. It is focusing on intervening and preventing crisis in older adults. And so older adults that are isolated, or who their primary care is the ER, or they just don't have access or transportation to the needed like medical providers that they need. We are really trying to be an intermediary in that process and prevent them from escalating towards a crisis, and allowing them to age healthily in place. So that's been really important.
I would like to make a comment. Again, Dale Hoover here. Talking about funding, that's the lifeblood to keep an organization going, whether in fact it's a nonprofit or a for-profit organization. We have the opportunity to do so many different things for people that are often unthought of in doing or needed. As you talk to a lot of maybe the younger people that are questioning about what should I be prepared for in the future, or for my parents or grandparents. And then when I have and our staff have an opportunity to tell people all that we do, it's more in tune to, I didn't know we had to do that, or we could do that. And to be able to have these programs, it takes funds. And that's why I say the funding is the lifeblood of these organizations. And this is what we provide for you folks. It's our way of helping you take care of a loved one in your family. So that's my put on funding. It's a needed source or resource, and we need those things to continue to be an excellent nonprofit organization as we are.
Thank you all for speaking on the needs of our clients and services. So here's the next question. How does support for your program help you fight against the challenges that our clients face, like isolation, especially in the time of COVID?
I think this is so important. I think isolation is one of the biggest challenges right now for aging adults. Governor Inslee said last night that the burden that older adults in our communities have taken on is so huge, and it really is. Understanding the implications of coronavirus for our clients and their friends and their families, like staying home it's what they can do and it's what they are doing, and we are working every day to make sure they have what they need. One of the great things that our philanthropy team was able to do was get some funding, a little bit of funding, so that we can buy computers for people, because a lot of people, when February and March rolled around, didn't have a computer. It just wasn't something that they had. They would either go to the senior center or the library, and those venues were the first to close. And so making sure that they actually have access to technology is so important. With the caregiver team, we were working with a woman who was caring for her brother, who was a veteran, and they had very suddenly were guardians of these two kids. And so this woman had to navigate doctor's appointments and medical appointments, VA appointments, and then had virtual schooling as well. And we were able to work with her to get a computer that the kids could use, that she could use, a filing cabinet to keep everything organized. And the impact that it made on that woman's life was amazing. And just so that she doesn't have to go out, it's all there in her home. And one of the things that we have heard from caregivers since this pandemic started was that their lives actually didn't change that much, because their lives were always centered around the needs of someone else. And all of a sudden, everyone else was almost in that mode as well, that they had to stay home and they had to focus on all these other populations. And so just seeing all of that, and our Pathways team has done amazing work. Before coronavirus hit, a regular call might take 10 to 20 minutes. to assess their needs. And calls nowadays with our team are going upwards of 1 to 2 hours. And they say that somewhere in there, they recognize that the person just wants to talk to someone. And they stay on the phone with them and they have those conversations, whether or not they're giving them access to resources or not. And so it really is those little things that we're able to do now that make a big difference. Whereas before, the social isolation and social distancing might not have seemed so important, but nowadays that extra 10 to 15 minutes on the phone call really can make a difference in someone's life.
Kim here again with transportation. Hi, shuttles. I will say that during the time, and they're still isolated, but during the time where we couldn't provide rides for a couple of months. So our Hyde shuttle drivers, and they're still delivering meals. That's the only time that, the poor people couldn't even get out, but we were able to at least get them lunch, and a face. And I remember some of my drivers telling me, they told me today, I was the only person they saw today, and our drivers provided them lunch. So that's been a huge thing. And then once we started taking people, we started with Essential first, with all of our gear and everything. But it's been a really godsend for those people that couldn't get out previously.
We've had to pivot very quickly due to the pandemic. As I mentioned, we have a small team, so many of our programs were only provided in person, face to face. So really trying to figure out what it would look like during this pandemic to not be able to do that. So we were fortunate to be able to do some pilot studies for enhanced fitness, where that could happen over video conferencing, as well as for our A Matter of Balance program, which is a fall prevention program that we train leaders to do out in the community. And so we were very fortunate to be able to pivot that so that those older adults could still participate in those programs. And what I have found is that even through the pandemic, there's so much fear and anxiety that older adults have, especially those that have underlying conditions. And so when I was reaching out to them to say, would you like to be a part of this pilot study for A Matter of Balance or enhanced fitness, they wanted to so bad. They just wanted to do something and still remain safe. And as we know, many people are just sitting. I know I've been sitting more than normal. And so with older adults, that is very dangerous because they become weaker and more frail. So being able to actually do an enhanced fitness class via video conferencing or participate in a Matter of Balance workshop has not only been good for them physically, but I had one participant mention that she appreciated the sisterhood. That just warmed my heart because isolation is at an all-time high from what we're finding with people really just being inside of their homes and just really focusing in on those folks that live alone. You might get a phone call once a week. If you don't have access to a computer with a webcam or a camera on it, you may not see anyone that whole week, and so that can be damaging. And many people have already been suffering from depression and anxiety, and it just has exacerbated it. So we are grateful that our team has been able to pivot to really do things either over their phone or via video conference, where we can still keep in contact with those participants and those clients. So having more funding would just we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know when things are going to get back to quote unquote normal, whatever that looks like moving forward. So just to have funding and to be able to provide access for those. I know even some of the leaders that I have trained in the community, they didn't have proper technology in order to be able to do the workshops and programs, as well. So being able to provide that to our volunteers and our leaders is just so important. It's just really so important because many of those folks are caregivers, and as I mentioned, they are older adults themselves. So not only are we serving the community, but we're serving the people that we work with directly as well.
Well, one of the things I guess that has really brought a new look to me is the GRAT program, the Geriatric Regional Assessment Team. And it's just another tool in my bag that I can offer when I do the initial contacts with individuals. And I think, as it was expressed here, we get to know our folks pretty well after a while. And just that initial contact, sometimes I see there's a resistance, or sometimes I see that, as in the past, where we had in-home assessors going to people's homes and they would give them brochures, but then the follow-through was never there. And so that's why I'm so grateful to have Caregiver Advocate Support Program, the GRAD program. Those are just great tools in my bag. And the transportation, I mean, these are all great tools to have in the bag. And then you can hear the tone and the people's voices and how they change, and saying, oh, I didn't know it was available. You guys really have a lot. You rock. And I mean, just the availability of just more access to more services. That's what, obviously, we all, I think, here are pretty humble in the way that we live our life, and the way of money right now, and it's more so than ever. But a lot of people don't have that choice sometimes, most of the time within the people getting on our program. But just being able to have that extra resource available, and then hearing people, this transformation all of a sudden. Unfortunately, I've talked to a lot of people recently and in the last couple of years that have suicide on their mind. And I've had to make some referrals and just talk them down, so to speak, from that type of situation. And one person in particular thanked me afterwards, and that really impacted me to know that we were having that much of an impact on a person's life. And it brings all of it into focus so much more when you have this accessibility and the people, the compassion and the gratitude that they feel for our programs, and I for them. So it's just great to have these extra resources available, and to bring it around, just to be able to offer it and to serve them and to help them maintain their dignity. Thank you.
And I wanted to also add that one thing I appreciate about all of our programs, from what I've noticed over the years working here, is that we really try to do our best to either have no barriers or low barriers to accessing our programs. When I first started out, I would refer my clients to a variety of resources in the community, as well as ours here. But what they found is we didn't have a bunch of paperwork to fill out, right? They didn't have to have a certain income requirement. So that's one thing that I've really appreciated about all of our programs, and many of our programs are free, and people cannot believe it. And so just that access is so important, because as we mentioned before, many folks are struggling with, okay, do I eat or do I buy medications? And so for someone to have to choose between that is just, it's not right. So I appreciate our programs for really trying to knock down those barriers of someone just like literally calling, providing a little bit of information and be able to be on the transportation list. Or even our enhanced fitness classes are very low cost. Some of them are free depending on the site, and our A Matter of Balance workshops that we provide are free to the community, and we provide snacks. Well, we did when they were in person, and we provide snacks, and we don't know where people are coming from or what they have. So just having that accessibility and those low barriers is very important. And I believe the only way we can continue to do that is from funding that we receive from private donations, from other organizations and companies, from grants. I know our fearless leader, Paige Dennison, she's constantly writing grants for our team in order to keep us going. So that is what more funding can do, and really that outreach to rural communities, communities less touched because they don't have that access where they can walk or really go somewhere that's within reach because they live so far out. So just that accessibility and those low barriers, we really have to continue with those low barriers, and so funding is essential to keep that going.
Thank you for your answers, all, for giving such great insight onto some of the challenges that people out there are facing. So our last question is aimed at King County as a whole. With almost 20% of the population here consisting of older adults, how does additional funding allow you to create a better safety net for those that you serve?
Well, I guess I can just chime in and just say it's everything that was expressed here by everybody. If it's transportation, if it's food insecurity, if it's enhancing a person and getting better physical health with the enhanced program, it's caregiver support, it's giving peace to people and a voice to the voiceless, if I can say that, because it does give them something to tangibly hold on to and to say, I now have this empowerment for myself that I can grab on to these programs. I can ask somebody. I can have, assistance with paperwork or enlightenment and what procedure or steps I should take next. And I think that's the thing I just love about Sound Generations, is that it offers all of these and more, because then we have a lot of volunteers who then become friends with a lot of these clients who then, may have had their, moments of reflection of not wanting to really be here much longer. But now they've given them purpose. They've given them that self-esteem back to want to continue in life. And with these tools that we have to offer at Sound Generations and more funding, that'll even bring more into the community. And we have to look at it as just that, a corporation or a business is not just the bottom line. You're part of the community. These are your, family members. So when we look at someone, we look at them as my brother, my sister, my aunt, my uncle. It's buying into the whole belief that no one should remain an island, nor should they have to choose to be an island. So I guess that's my spiel. Thank you.
So what I'm asking Ty here, because I really want from Ty's heart, because he takes people all the time. So Ty, what makes you the happiest doing your job?
Well, every day I get up and I take people for lunch. I'll go to the doctor, and it makes me very happy. The people very old and they can cook, or they don't have the people live with them. They can go to the doctor, and when I get there, I think every day it makes me very happy, and I'm very proud. I work for the company to take care the people and the country we live.
And I really feel that creates at least a transportation safety net for our people to know that they can get out and get what they need to get out in the world, and their food and whatever they need. Thank you.
For assistance services, I think one of the best things that additional funding brings is the flexibility to really meet the client's needs. We are so grateful that we live in a city, in a county, in a state that really prioritizes the health of its residents. But those contracts are very specific, and they perform a very specific function. And when we are able to actually meet a need, no questions asked, and the relief that people feel because of that, it's something that can't be described. With some additional funding we received that was really flexible due to coronavirus, we were able to get in-home care for people who had been on wait lists for years. And that I can't even begin to tell you what someone feels once they actually get the care that they've been needing, that unfortunately a government contract just doesn't allow us to provide. When we're able to actually ask them, who would you like to do your in-home care, and we can contract with that company, their minds are just blown, because they've seen the list that typically they have to choose from, and the organization they want to work with isn't on that list. And so for us to be able to say, nope, you choose what works for you, that is the best thing that additional funding brings for us. It really just brings that piece of dignity and saying, like, you know your life best, and we're here to help you do that. We're not here to tell you how to live your life best. We want to help you with it. And so any increased funding that gives us that flexibility, it really is just a godsend, that it really does go straight to our clients in helping us achieve that mission.
I'll take a moment to chime in. Also, Dale Hoover here again. And as I mentioned previously, I'm the person that's out on the streets, as they say, promoting Sound Generations programs. And for my 15 years of doing this, I've had so many people that either whether through a health fair or some other environment where we're doing kind of a one-on-one type of a thing, as I explained the programs, and they look at you in the eye, and I have that opportunity to as well look them in the eye, and they can feel the depth of our feelings for you. I often say that when I'm looking at them. We do these programs because we care about you. You're very important to us. And they oftentimes get misty-eyed, which is a little embarrassing for me at times to watch that, but they can see the depth of the care of the people that work at Sound Generations to perform the functions that for each of these programs. But I think the real in-depth feeling is a silent one. Oftentimes they look at you and they just want to say thank you so much for caring about me, or my mother, my father, grandparents, whomever that we deal with. And so to me, every day that I work is a holiday in my way of looking at things. Every day is a holiday if you want it to be. And it is a holiday for me. And because I get to talk to people about our programs and to extend to them that you're part of our family, and that's who we are and who we represent. Your family to us. We offer these programs, and we hope that you are blessed by these programs in some way.
Thank you, Dale. I'll just do a quick one because I am just so overwhelmed and thankful with the joy again for all of you. I can't thank you enough. And just for all that you do, all that you lead, all that you show in the community, reflecting this organization's values and representing the board is just more inspiration for us to continue to advocate and to fight and to support and to have your back. So I am just thank you, Annie, for including me. This has just been fantastic.
And I'll answer. So I believe the Health and Wellness Department creates a safety net in the community because we try to deal with the whole person. So physical activity through enhanced fitness, and then mental and emotional through our enhanced wellness coaching program. And for those that don't know, it's a one-on-one health coaching program that we provide out in the community. And we would love to be able to spread that far and wide. And I personally think we should have someone here at Sound Generations that's available to the residents that live here, and also the staff and the volunteers as well. So we really work with the whole person. And I just have a little quote here from an Enhanced Wellness participant that I think speaks to what we're talking about here. And this person says, the Enhanced Wellness program has made a world of a positive difference in my life and success in negotiating all of the details to live a better, more productive, happy life. I feel valued and respected. I have been able to find hope and actually navigate the ups and downs that I have in my life. So, really, being able to walk with people through their journey is so important to not only our team, but our entire organization. Because, as I say, we're all getting older every day. So we will soon, if we're not already there, be in similar positions as our clients and participants. So really just having empathy and really working with the whole person is how I believe health and wellness can really provide that safety net, because it's not just one aspect of someone's life that you want to be working with. We provide food, we provide transportation, and then some folks have those things, but they need a partner to walk with them to figure out what's happening and how they deal with a new diagnosis that they may have received, caregivers. So it really is about the whole person. So that's how we create a safety net in King County, in Washington State, and hopefully all over the country.
And I can share how GRAT is contributing to this. So our focus is really on kind of reaching culturally and linguistically diverse communities, isolated older adults, and really building up their formal and informal forms of support. And so that's how we've really been able to make a good kind of effect and impact on the community. And it has also allowed us to partner with smaller community-based organizations and expand their capacity to do the work and to work alongside them as well.
Thank you all once again for coming together and helping us bring awareness to the needs of our aging community this Giving Tuesday. Together, we can do more and make a positive change in the lives of marginalized and underserved older adults, adults with disabilities, and their caretakers. And to follow us on our Giving Tuesday campaign progress or make a gift to support the needs of those we serve, we invite you to check out the link below or text SG Tuesday to 71777. Again, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.